Hey y'all, welcome to Brain Like Berkeley with your host, Kuapara. Today we're going to be getting into the phenomenal Beyonce Bowl, hands down. I have been feeling, y'all, only God knows what I have been through in these last few months. It's been a lot. I've been laying low, keeping my head to the sky, but also laying low. And really been going through, I guess you could say, a night of the dark hour, whatever, however that saying goes. But the Beyonce Bowl, I must say, pero, ay Dios mío, eso me levantó. Cuando yo te digo que yo estaba en un lugar, but that Beyonce Bowl, I'm sorry, Beyonce is amazing. That woman is touched by God and the ancestors. And always trust your intuition, people. I really want to get into the nuggets of this amazing gift. It was so much bigger than the Super Bowl. It was so much bigger than Christmas. It was so much bigger than the NFL, the Cowboys, the Ravens. It was such a gift. And I have so many things on my mind that I don't want to forget to state. But I really want to stress that if there's anyone going through just like a rough patch, depression, racism, sexism, any type of thing that you're going through, turn to creativity. If you feel you do not have a creative bone in your body, you do. Tap in to creative things and people, and they will awaken that within you. Creativity is medicine, and I really feel like the Beyonce Bowl was medicine. At least it was for me. I have rewatched it so many times. And I'll tell you, I was literally looking forward to it, and then I was not because of all these things happening with her husband in the news, God forbid. And I was just nervous for her because I really deeply care about Beyonce because I feel she has done so much to bring what we go through as women, especially women of African descent, to the forefront. I've always been more of a Riri fan than a Beyonce fan. I've always loved Beyonce. Don't get me wrong. Like, I grew up on her music. Many of us did. She's got me through girlhood trauma, adult trauma, like her and Destiny's Child, if we going back to girlhood. So shout out to Destiny's Child, by the way. Anyways, my point is, if you've been going through things, it's so important that you have an outlet, right? And I know that Miss Beyonce takes her work very seriously. And I was looking forward to the halftime show, but then at the same time, I was dreading it because of all these things happening in the media with her husband. And because I care about her, I was just like thinking, OMG, how is this impacting her? How is this impacting Blue? Because she's older, she's going to comprehend what's happening more because the allegations against her husband are just atrocious. And that's really not the subject. The subject of this episode is really how do we utilize creativity to transcend moments of darkness that are bound to happen. And this episode is also about how do you navigate when you are with someone who is energetically lower than you or beneath you. And it's happened to all of us. All of us. All of us have loved someone deeply who is energetically not our match, who is energetically a downgrade. And if you can't remember a time that you've ever loved someone who was not energetically on your level, then perhaps you are that person who's energetically lower. And that's no shade, right? That's just awareness, right? We've all had times where we were maybe the energetic lower one, and maybe we're the person who's like uplifting. But regardless, that's what I really want to talk about because Y'all, when she did that performance, it just made me realize she's going to be okay. Regardless what happens to her husband, Miss Beyonce will be okay because her calling is so much deeper. No disrespect to Jay-Z, but I just feel like Beyonce has done so much to forward us as African people. I have never heard her call herself a Pan-African, but to me, her work speaks for itself, and I do find her to be a Pan-African. And I want to get into just the amazing performance. And then we're going to talk about how creativity really helps with mental health issues. So, first of all, the Beyonce Bowl was at the NRG Stadium in Houston. Yes. You know, she had to bring it. She's obviously from Texas, Southern, Afro Creole girl. Love her. She featured a lot of up and coming talents, and she also reminded us that we are America, okay? We helped build this country. I mean, we really did. We majority built this country through forced slavery, but that's not the history she was talking about. She was reclaiming our cowboy and cowgirl history because, yes, one out of every three cowboys in America was African American. Okay, and then we had hecka cowboys who are Native American and Mexican American. So this is our history. This is all of our history. It's white people's history too. Just like we consider certain fallen white people heroes as people of color, white folks get to consider our people heroes because we're all American. And that's what I like about Beyonce is she is reminding us that we too are a part of this fabric. OMG, I just love her. So she featured a sister named Melanie Rivera, who is una caballera mexicana, who's a Mexican cowgirl. She also featured Mertice Dightman Jr., who's considered the Jackie Robinson of rodeo. What else? Also, she featured Miss Rodeo Texas Princess and Miss Rodeo Texan of 2015, Nikki Woodward. And she also featured the first Black rodeo queen of Arkansas, Miss Jediah Kirsch. So that's living history right now that she's sharing the stage, y'all. This is what we're supposed to do as Pan-Africans, as African people. We're each one teach one, each one, I got it, you got it. Like, we're supposed to put each other on and share the stage. It's not supposed to be that crabs in a bucket type thing. Miss Beyonce is so phenomenal, and I love her for this. Okay. Um, I also want to say, oh, and so those two people who were on the car coming out, that was Mr. Cal McNair and Hannah McNair. They're actually the owners of the Houston Texans. And also the marching band. Shout out to universities who are really preparing their young people for real life. I thought that was all Beyonce's people. That was Texas Southern University. Okay, shout out. My Uncle Ben used to be a professor emeritus there. That was Texas Southern University Ocean of Soul Marching Band, y'all. Shout out to Mr. Brian Simmons, the director of that band. He's actually from New Orleans. He went to McDonough 35 Senior High School, class of 2010. He is now the director of Texas Southern University. Y'all, he did that with his students. And he says a lot of his students are also from New Orleans. So we really got to shout out Texas Southern, the director of the Ocean of Soul Marching Band, Mr. Brian Simmons, and all his students, the ones from Texas, the ones from all over, the ones from New Orleans, because they showed out as though they were professionals, because they are. That was phenomenal. I mean, wow. What else? Oh, I want to talk about um yeah, so when she did the song 16 Carriages, y'all noticed that she had 16 white Cadillacs. That was so powerful. And it said that that was like the Compton Cowboys who were, helping her, assisting her on the horse, off the horse, and you saw other cowboys and cowgirls in the background. ¿Qué más iba a decir? Oh, when she did the song, OMG, the 16 Carriages song, she featured women of color, African American country singers, Tanner Adele, Brittany Spencer, Tierra Kennedy, Raina Roberts, um, and it was just amazing. And then, of course, she featured her daughter, Blue Ivy, and I just love that. I love seeing a mother and daughter, just the way that they vibe, like, and then obviously that's her first child. Your first is just always going to be, trust me, I know because I'm the firstborn. Your firstborn is just always going to ride or die for you. And I know that Miss Beyonce, she gives us glimpses into her world, but I know that the way she loves Blue Ivy is just cosmic. I feel that, and I just love the way they support one another. Um, and I want to give a shout out to the animals. I'm an animal lover. The horse that she rode into, that beautiful white horse, is a Lipsanier horse. It's a special breed of horses that start off black, and then as they grow older, they either turn white or gray. So the horse she rode on was named Marshmallow, and then the other horses were named um, Duke, Moonstone, Southern Belle, Diamond, and Fancy. And they had these special little shoes made for the horses called Cavallo boots that protect the horses so that they don't slip and fall. And I just think that's beautiful. So, um, yeah. Anyway, I just want to really get into now. Oh yeah, obviously Post Malone and Shabuzi. Oh, Shabuzi, he's Nigerian American. I loved that collaboration. Here he is, this beautiful Nigerian African American brother doing country hip hop. Why not? Rep, where are you from? You're a Nigerian born in Texas? Yeah, you're gonna have some country tunes in you. Be you. And I think this is the time where everyone's just accepting, like, I'm just gonna be who I am. Wearing a mask is so draining. I also love the duet she did with Mr. Post Malone. I think he has an incredible voice. I also think he's a very handsome white man. And even with all those tattoos, he came in looking very presentable, clean cut, and it was a gorgeous, intimate duet. He has actually a beautiful singing voice. And when he said, yes, ma'am, I was like, yes, honey, I know the feeling. I know you were just like swept off your feet right now. And I love that he said that simple gesture of respect, y'all. There was a time, maybe y'all don't get it or appreciate it. I do, because I'm a real lover of history, because I think we have to know history to ensure that we only return to the good parts of it. There was a time when Black women couldn't even be referred to as ma'am. They had to be referred to as girl, and men couldn't be referred to as sir. They had to be called boy. So him calling her ma'am and giving her that reverence and that respect, which is very a part of Southern culture. I like that. And I think, as a West Coast person, but obviously I have Southern roots, we really can learn a lot from Southern hospitality. Okay. Oh, my Lord. And I have to get into the clothes, y'all. The wardrobe, the all white, the way that those brothers were wearing the white bandanas, and just they were just looking so austere and serious and just giving like militancy. I was like, is something about to happen? What are we waiting for? Like, what is really going on? But it was just giving that seriousness that I really Oh, it just came through the screen, y'all. And to perform for an arena that big and also to perform for the cameras simultaneously, I know because I'm a performer, that is very hard. That is very hard work. And those brothers with the bandanas, they were just exuding this energy, and that was very intentional. No, that every little detail was so intentional. And shout out to those cars. Whoever takes care of those cars. I'm blanking on the brother's name, but he's on Instagram. I'll try to put it in the link below. But anyways, I want to move on to, oh yes, Parkwood Entertainment, y'all. If y'all can, well, I wrote actually a piece on this. So if you go to my piece, you can see all the images. So Parkwood Entertainment is actually Beyonce's own entertainment company that she founded herself, probably with the help of her mom, because her mother is fabulous. We all love you, Mom, honey. And how you upgraded with your new man. Yes, we love you, Mommy. Anyway, and we love you, Solange. Solange. Okay, we won't get into this, but Solange, I really love you. I feel like you're my alter ego. But anyways, um, Fausto Puglisi. Fausto Puglisi, Sicilian born and bred designer. He's the one who designed that fabulous feather coat dress thing that she had on, that white feather. Y'all, wasn't she so beautiful, fully covered? And I love Beyonce covered or uncovered, but to see a black woman fully covered and to still see how radiant and beautiful she is, because so many times when black women are in, celebrity limelight or whatnot, it's like we just have to be so exposed. And it's like, why? Like it's okay if that's what you do, that's fine. But like, why do these executives seem to always have our women so exposed? And it's just to see her in that beautiful white, oh, on the white, she was so beautiful. Like, mashallah. Miss Beyonce, boost it down, baby girl, que tú tienes la cosa que todo el mundo quiere. Okay, moving on. So, now let's get to the heart of what I really want to talk about, y'all. I really want to talk about what it means when we align ourselves with someone who is energetically beneath us. And I'm obviously talking about Beyonce's husband. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. We've all been there. I've been there. My mother's been there. We've all been there. My grandmother's been there. We've all been there. I remember when it first started coming out, when Beyonce and Jay-Z were together. I was still a teenager, a young teenager. And I remember thinking then, like, why is she interested in him? He's so much older than her. Two, her music is so empowering and his music is so teeny bopper. It's so just typical. And Jay-Z started off conscious, but he did not stay conscious. Excuse me. Anyway, so I just remember thinking they didn't match energetically. And I've always felt that way, and that's fine. And then when the incident happened with Solange, putting hands on him in the elevator, that's when it just confirmed that my intuition was right. Because a sister is only going to do that, especially a sister of high caliber as Solange, is only going to do that if that person merits that. And there was something disingenuous and dishonorable about Jay-Z's actions to make Solange do that. Now, we see Solange, or let me see for myself, I see Solange and Beyonce in a very high light. At the same time, they really is Texan girls from the South. Like, they can go there if they need to, right? A lot of times we have to live in both worlds and we oscillate in more than one world. And so we saw then that Solange knows how to bring it when she needs to. And I resonated with that because I'm very protective of all my sisters. right? My twin sister, my baby sister, or anyone who I love like a sister. And I will say that loving men can be very hard on the psyche. It can be very hard on the spirit, on the soul. It can just be very taxing. As well, loving women can also be the same way. Lord knows I have been hurt by some very diabolical women who were good at heart, but they just unfortunately learned to, I don't know, some women just hurt. They need to hurt other people. I don't want this to seem like a diss against men, but really sitting in space with men and loving on men, especially to the point of spousehood, can be very taxing. And I personally, I've always admired Beyonce. I've never really considered myself I couldn't consider myself like a fan because I wasn't like, her Beehive fandom is just, training camp level. Like, they're professionals. They're professional fans. And so I feel like I couldn't really say that because I'm not on that level, but I've always admired her work and I've always listened to her music and supported her. But I've always kind of been more like, if I wanted to like sit down and actually meet someone, I was always more like attracted more to Rihanna because I felt like Miss Rihanna is more vulnerable in her music. Well, that all changed with Lemonade, right? We saw Beyonce in a way that we never had. She always like, I'm Queen Bee, whoop, 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 which she is and she always will be. But with Lemonade, she was very vulnerable. And I'm a type of person where I need you to be vulnerable with me. Like, I'm very vulnerable with people. And if I have a friend who is like never fully vulnerable with me as I am with them, then I start to kind of distance myself because I can't be the one who's always vulnerable. Like, if I feel you're always guarded around me, it's going to shift the dynamic. So when Miss Beyonce dropped Lemonade, she really showed us her vulnerability. And she showed us that she bleeds just like us. She has dark thoughts just like us, insecurities just like us. She deals with the petty drama that certain undeveloped or underdeveloped men bring just like us, which was phenomenal because a lot of times when a woman is so beautiful and so this and so that, we assume that, oh, well, she doesn't have to deal with these things like with these regular men. No, no. We saw that with Holly Berry. No, you still deal with messed up stuff. None of these things can protect you. And I think as women, we're brainwashed, we're groomed to believe that the more beautiful we are, the better we take care of ourselves, the more educated we are, the sexier we are, that's somehow going to shield us from the effery that certain men can bring to the table, and it won't. Trust me, honey. And we're also taught that, oh, if you just love him so, so much, it will protect you from this. It won't. You can love until your eyes pop out. It's not going to prevent whatever's going to happen is going to happen when you align yourself with a person who is energetically beneath you. So, with that being said, I want to talk about why I love Beyonce so much, because she used this sadness. Obviously, she was going through a lot in Lemonade. It's evident that her man was cheating on her. Boo. Like, how dare you? Ugh. It makes me want to throw up just to think about any woman being cheated on. But anyway, he did it and she chose to stay, and that's fine. That's her husband. It's her choice. It's not for us to decide. And she loves him, like she really loves him. But even if she had left him, it wouldn't mean that she doesn't love him. So I think that's important to know as well, that staying is not proof of your love. Sometimes leaving can be proof of your love. So, but anyway, what I really want to talk about is that I believe Miss Beyonce uses her creativity as self-care. That's how she takes care of herself. That's also how she takes care of the world. That is her gift to us, is her creativity. And by the grace of God, she's hella confident, but she's not a narcissist because she shares her stage and she uses her platform to bless us with gems of healing and health, right? So on her Lemonade album, she featured this work by this beautiful sister, Kenyan-born Somali sister out of the UK named Warsan Shire. And Warsan Shire's poetry is all throughout Lemonade and Beyonce's beautiful voice, which is gorgeous. And I had never heard of Warsan Shire until Lemonade. And that's why I love Beyonce, because she brings us tools in a way that's accessible, right? What are the chances that I'm just going to pick up a poetry book by Warsan Shire without having been told by like a girlfriend or someone? And Beyonce uses her music to be that girlfriend, to be like, I want you to go pick up some books by Warsan Shire, right? Without saying it like that, but she features her work. And obviously, you know, anyone who's listened to that album knows how beautiful this sister's poems are. So anyway, I have rewatched the Beyonce Bowl so many times because, you know, I've been going through a lot, you know, living in Oakland. Whew, dear God, living in Oakland, California, you're going to see a lot. You're going to experience a lot. And even though we're the home of the Black Panthers and all this and all that, you're going to see a lot. You're going to experience a lot of racism. You're going to And you're going to also experience a lot of internalized racism from your own people. You're going to see a lot of sexism. You're just going to see so many things that are heartbreaking that I can't go into because I don't want to start crying in this video. But I've been healing from a lot of things, and Miss Beyonce's halftime show on Christmas Day, y'all. It was amazing. It healed me. It touched me. I have been injured by so many people. And that show touched me deep in my soul. And it reminded me that everything is going to be okay. And if it's not, it's up to me to make it okay. And that's what I loved about her performance, because I've loved a man who was weaker than me before, who wasn't energetically up to where I am. And maybe Jay-Z is there now, but in the past he wasn't. Clearly, otherwise he would have never put his queen through what he put her through, right? But so that's why I was just like nervous for Beyonce, because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's a lover. Like, she loves people deeply, like me. Like, I'm sure this issue has her hella stressed out. And I was like, how is she gonna perform? That's like me. I just get so, when issues hit me, I become so consumed with it. Like, I also live with like PTSD, major depressive disorder. I live with like a lot of things, and so for me, it's like very visceral how I deal with it. And so naturally, as an Aquarian, I was worried about Miss Beyonce, just sending her positive energy, hoping her and her daughter were okay and just kind of shielded from how messy the media is. But boy, Miss Beyonce showed the world that she will be okay. I mean, matter of fact, she will be stupendous. And this isn't to like superhuman her, because I know she has feelings. I'm certain that what her husband is going through is impacting her. But I also want to say, like, I find that, you know, God forbid if those allegations are true, God forbid, then I'm hoping that that victim is okay, right? Because those are very serious allegations. you know, and for her to have like a 12-year-old daughter, and then this person is saying something like that happened when they were 13. I'm just thinking like a lot of these things have to be going on, and maybe Miss Beyonce is like, I know for sure my husband didn't do that, or maybe she's having questions like, did he? Or maybe he was like tricked into being there at the same time. Like, who knows? I know that I've had questions about the former love of my life. Like, what the hell? Why do you even hang out with these people? And by the way, hanging out with bad people, me and my former partner had a lot of issues, mostly because he hung out with ding dong heads, just straight dodo heads, just low life, fun people, very fun, but not people of character, not people who truly loved him, not people who truly cared about him. And they were always dragging him into their mess. And it cost him hella money, messed up his credit, messed up our relationship so many times. So I understand to a certain extent, not fully, what she's going through. And so many of us go through that. It's a very human thing to go through. So I just been wondering, like, oh my gosh, was she gonna be able to perform? How's it gonna be? But Miss Beyonce showed us that above all, before she met Jay-Z, she has always been who God made her to be. And no man in his past life or former life drama is going to stop her from doing what God put her here to do. And it just all came very crystallized because when I saw that performance, I said, okay, she understands her calling. She knows her lane. She knows what she's here to do because she performed, y'all. I was like, what? When she sang Jolene, I was like, oh, Lord. She sang Jolene. And shout out to Miss Dolly Parton for writing that song. That song is beautiful. And I was like, it was weird because she was like, you know, Jolene, please don't come and take my man. And I was like, wow. I wonder if she's thinking of her husband in this moment and like Jolene as Lady Justice, you know? Who knows? Only God knows and Miss Beyonce. But I just want to thank her for blessing this world. 2024 was hella ghetto. It was hella ghetto. Some beautiful babies were born in 2024, though. Shout out to all the beautiful babies born in 2024 and all the beautiful babies conceived in 2024. Um, and we lost some great ones. We lost the great Nikki Giovanni. My brother Jonathan had just sent me a book of her works for my birthday. So it was just sad to lose her. We lost a lot of great people. A lot of great people were born. Um, Weird, like random, like assassinations of, you know, healthcare CEOs. Like, um, obviously that was Luigi Mangione. I think that's going to be like a big thing of 2024 that I'll remember. So it's been kind of like this weird precipice of we're at this. I feel like we were in this very dark, deep, toxic slumber in 2024, and now there's like this like overwhelming awakening. And we need to be awake. We need to be awoken. And I just thank Miss Beyonce for doing that. And I think my mom, I love my mommy. She's really been there for me. And I just say that because I think about Beyonce's mom. And, you know, my brother Noble, he's always telling me, like, people always make a big deal about Beyonce and they forget about her team. And he's so right, y'all. Because when I was doing research for her halftime performance, her team is incredible. Her dancers, her designers, her assistants, you know, all these people who don't get the praise. What I really want to say, going back to mental health and creativity, y'all, you can only be as strong or as bright as the people you surround yourself with. Miss Beyonce has deliberately chosen to surround herself with like top tier people, whether it's a person just tying shoes to the person, you know, lifting her up on that thing she went up on when she did the bang part. Like, I don't know all the technical names for this, but she deals with le crème de la crème, lo mejor de lo mejor. She really does that. And those people also do that. We may not know their name, but they're the reason why they're working with Beyonce, and then the next person, you know, it's a reason for that. So we have to surround ourselves with people who want to sharpen us. And as my brother Noble says, and my auntie Martha says, you want to surround yourself with people who are excited to see you, who want to see you win. And that's what Beyonce does, whether she's in going through hell or going through, you know, the blissful times. She surrounds herself with a winning team. And I really want us to surround ourselves with winning teams for 2025 and all the years of our lives, y'all, because this ain't no dress rehearsal, like my amazing teacher, Mr. Savage, always say. This ain't no dress rehearsal, y'all. We got to get it right this time. And if people don't F with you, get the message. Read the writing on the wall. Keep it pushing, y'all. We got poems to write. We got lives to save. We cannot just be here lollygagging. I wish my daddy was still here, y'all. I miss my daddy so much. Not a day goes by that I don't think about him. And some people didn't even come to my dad's funeral, you know, but people can appreciate how you love a person. You feel me? But that's why you gotta show up when you can while people are still here, you know? Like, life is short. Don't take it for granted. And I feel like Beyonce treats every day like it's her last freaking day. That was the NFL show, y'all. It wasn't even the Super Bowl. I mean, she's done Super Bowl, but I'm just saying, like, she didn't have to perform that big, but she did. She performed like, I don't know, like it was the final supper for the whole world. Like, I don't know, the way she performed that. She really loves us. She loves this wretched world, as she should, because God told us to. And I just love her for loving us because it inspired me. It inspired me to just do better. And I want to close with this amazing poem by Miss Warsan. Es Halaban. ¿Dónde está este poema? Okay, this poem, obviously I had to choose this poem because I'm sure someone feels this way about me. This poem by Warsan Shire is entitled For Women Who Are Difficult to Love. And it goes, you are a horse running alone, and he tries to tame you, compares you to an impossible highway, to a burning house, says you are blinding him, that he could never leave you, forget you, want anything but you. You dizzy him. You are unbearable. Every woman before you or after you is doused in your name. You fill his mouth. His teeth ache with the memory of taste. His body just a long shadow seeking yours. But you are always too intense, frightening in the way that you want him, unashamed and sacrificial. He tells you that no man can live up to the one who lives in your head. And you tried to change, didn't you? Closed your mouth more, tried to be softer, prettier, less volatile, less awake. But even when sleeping, you could feel him traveling away from you in his dreams. So, What did you want to do, love? Split his head open. You can't make homes out of human beings. Someone should have already told you that. And if he wants to leave, then let him leave. You are terrifying and strange and beautiful. Something not everyone knows how to love. Okay, Miss Wi-Fi, shit, that girl, you did that, honey. Been there, done that, yes, girl. I've been told so many times, like, oh, God, yeah. Anyway, that poem really resonated with me. So thank you, Miss Beyonce, for introducing us to her poetry. Thank you for your amazing show. God bless you and your beautiful children, and you stay safe. And we love you, and we're keeping your family in our prayers. Ciao.